Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Rich Wilson show. I am Rich Wilson. No, you're not. And there we go. So, and with me, where did the light go? What the hell happened to the light? We had light, and now we don't. Well, there's a light right there in the studio.
It's not fine on the computer. There it goes.
You forgot to turn auto off on the camera, didn't you?
I didn't even have it on.
Alright. So, go... No. Go down it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're working on this. Go down to where all the shit that runs in the background over to the right. Okay, click up. You should, there. Go to that right there. Okay, go to the gear.
We're on the gear.
Okay, go to advanced or properties. Okay.
I was in there already.
Okay, it's already off. Okay, never mind it. Alright, so we're just going to have to work with it. Basically, the brightness off of my head is going to cause the light to dim and not dim based on where I sit. It's just going to happen. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Rich Wilson show. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulty there. We're working on it. Got a new studio guy. And, well, he's a new studio guy. So, for those of you that are watching here on Facebook, Facebook Live, you're getting a preview of the world famous Rich Wilson show. However, I will not be staying completely live on this. If you want to see the show in its entirety, though, please check out the link that's provided in my Facebook page, and you can click over to the YouTube channel and be a part of it there. All right, so that's why that's up. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about, well, sexual harassment and darkness in my studio again.
It's literally your head.
It is literally my head. My head, I shaved my head again, and now it is causing me, it's causing the light to keep changing. And maybe if I cover up my head, it'll change. Okay, so it worked. Somebody want to give me a hat, something to put over. No, give me a hat. Give me a hat. I don't want to look like I'm. Okay, there we go. All right, let's try that now. Okay, folks, now look. Yeah, now get her done. All right, so anyway, hopefully that works out. I have a very shiny head, and unfortunately, the camera system seems to adjust itself appropriately. Anyway, we're going to talk about. Evidently, I can't turn my head that way. I have to look through the corner of my eye because the moment I do this, well, now it's not going to do it.
Get some of the oil off his skin.
Right. So anyway, so folks, we're going to talk about sexual harassment today. Sexual harassment is a big thing. If you guys, have, like, unless you've lived under a rock, you know that every bit of the news is filled with it. And it all started off with Harvey Weinstein out of Hollywood, and now it just keeps going. And now it's involved Congress, our House of Representatives, President of the United States. Some poor schmuck on an island somewhere, you know, is getting brought up on sexual harassment charges. I mean, even I'm being investigated for sexual harassment, well, at least for the third time. So, it's happening everywhere. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to, we might get to net neutrality today. We may not. Also, we're going to talk about the tax bill and why you guys should be concerned. And actually, this time, believe what the Democrats are saying. We're going to cover all that. By the way, in studio with me, you know, normally I don't have anybody with me on the show, but I did bring Miranda Gibbs in. And the reason why I did is because, of course, I'm a white conservative male trying to talk to you about sexual harassment. There is so many groups of people that just got pissed off because I'm talking about sexual harassment. So I brought in a woman on the show, and so we could discuss it. So that way we actually have both genders covered, unless you identify as something else. You don't identify as something else.
Attack helicopter?
I sometimes identify as a dump truck. And I will.
Fister was a train.
Sometimes yes, and Fister was a train. And I'll walk around sometimes and go, beep, beep, I'm a dump truck, bitch.
I'm 98% positive that 2017 is mostly about who can have the most butthurt year. Pardon the innuendo.
It is very plausible. By the way, if any of you guys are watching this show and you guys get butthurt easily over things that somebody said, there is this red square with a white X in the middle of it, and wrong corner. Yeah, there you go. In that corner, you may want to click that now, because I'm pretty sure a lot of shit I have to say is going to offend the crap out of you.
And probably me too.
So anyway, alright, so we got people that have checked in over in the Facebook page, and we're hoping they link themselves over to the YouTube page, because I'm going to give it about another 5 minutes. I'm probably going to shut the Facebook page off, because I would like to save my phone. So anyway, let's talk about the difference in sexual harassment, because the problem is the media is not covering it accurately. Okay? They're making it sound like sexual assault and sexual harassment are the same thing. And then rape is another. Well, sexual assault and harassment are not the same thing. Okay, they are two separate things. Now, the reason why I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to tell you is, okay, so if you got a pad and paper and you want to keep up with things, here you go. Here's some information for you. Sexual harassment is somebody making comments that could be deemed sexual in nature or offensive in that form. Quid pro quo means if you blow me, I'll give you a job promotion, or you won't get fired. Things of that nature. Sexual harassment covers a broad base, like going out and catcalling, things like that, are all part of sexual harassment. Okay.
And women can do it too, not just men.
Yes, women can do it too. Okay, now, I know that people are going to wonder, well, what about if I look at a girl and she suddenly says I'm sexually harassing her because I'm undressing her with my eyes, evidently? Okay, well, there's a way to undress a woman with your eyes, and then there's a way that's not. If you stare at a girl and you slowly roll down her body, then you slowly roll back up, yeah, that's going to get deemed that you just undressed that chick in your mind. See, now I have a vivid enough imagination I can do it without moving. Okay, but that's just me. Okay, hey, look, I'm an honest person. Now, do I do that? No, because some of the women that I know, I wouldn't want any. I wouldn't want.
It mostly just matches up the face.
I feel
with
bad.
The appropriate skin tone body from a major porn star.
Some of them, I feel bad for the OBGYNs because they gotta look at that. You know, I'm just saying. Now, there's some of them that, yeah, I would like to get carnal knowledge, but you know, anyhow. All right. See, I put a woman in the studio. However, oh no, I'm not. I hate that Facebook now asks that. If you got somebody watching, like, can you want to bring them on camera? No. All right. So anyway, now sexual assault is totally different. Harassment is basically words, gestures, looks, things like that. Okay. So let's just break it down a little more simpler. Okay. Basically, like I said, words, gestures, looks, things of that nature, drawings, like me showing a picture of a woman nude and going, that's sexual harassment. It's not assault. Okay, sexual harassment. This whole ideology, he raped me with his eyes thing, okay, that's total bullshit. Okay? Because I can tell you, women think about sex just as much as guys. They've proven it psychologically. It's just men don't hide it as well. Okay, especially since if we're really turned on by the idea, you can see within a few seconds that we're interested. Women, they don't have that problem.
I mean, sometimes we have to change afterwards, but shit happens.
See, there you go. Okay, so, all right, but that's all part of harassment. Assault is when you actually reach out and grab somebody in the wrong way. Okay, I didn't know we were going to be doing examples. Okay, but when you touch somebody in the wrong way, when somebody's bending over to pick something up and you happen to oh, let me help you, and you reach down and you rub your hand across her butt. Okay, things like that, that is assault. The moment you touch somebody without permission, we don't have to say sexual. Assault is the moment you touch somebody without authorization. Okay? Now somebody's going to like, well, what happens if they're dying? Because I know some idiot's going to ask that question. Okay, there's a difference between rendering aid to a person versus sexually assaulting an individual. Okay? Touching specific areas in the intention to hope to turn them on. Things of that nature. Girls bent over picking something up off a bottom shelf. You happen to come up and you get your penis region of your pressed right up against her ass. Yes, that is sexual assault.
The way that I learned it in school is that it's any unwanted physical interaction of a sexual nature, such as touching breasts, chests, genitalia, butts, or anything that could be considered a hot zone. So, like, some people they get turned on by, you know, the light touching of the neck, things like that. If you're doing that without that person's consent in order to try and stimulate them sexually, it is sexual assault.
And a lot of it is based off of the intent. If I come up and rub the back of your neck, okay, if me and you are friends, okay, we're very, very close. Okay, now what is okay for us to do is not okay for, say, somebody else to do with somebody they're not familiar with. But if I'm working with you in a workplace and you start complaining that you're stressed and you're all tensed up, and I come back and I rub your shoulder without the intention of hoping anything happens later on that day, no, that is technically not sexual assault. However,
well, there's a difference between the buddy massage and the...
No, there isn't. It's already been ruled in court. There is no difference. Okay? The difference is you.
Okay.
If
you came up and you were like, you got this, don't worry, and then you walked away.
But the difference is you. Okay? If you felt that I was intending to come on to you, then it now becomes assault.
Perception's reality.
Perception is the reality, and that unfortunately is partially sad, because there are innocent guys that are good guys that are just trying to be nice, that, you know, unfortunately get hurt in the process, because everybody has feelings, everybody needs a safe place, and you know, things of that nature. So unfortunately, though, yes. So even a girl that you've been familiar with forever. Even with you, if I walked up and rubbed your shoulders right now, and then you suddenly decided, well, no, he was trying to get something out of the deal, that boom, I'm guilty of sexual assault. Even though that's not my intention.
Right.
Your perception is what decides it. Now, rape, I don't even think we really need to identify rape. But we will, because we've identified the others. Rape is the actual unwanted, forced, or so forth sexual intercourse upon a person that's not willing.
Including sodomy.
Including sodomy. Okay? The moment you start penetrating something with something, okay?
Or forcing penetration.
Or forcing penetration. The moment, even if you have a hand, you have a mouth, anything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be a penis and a vagina.
Well, just an example of female to male rape. I knew there was a case going on when I was stationed in South Korea. There was this female going around spiking guys' drinks.
Yes.
And whatever mixture she had that she was spiking their drinks with, not only made them black out, it also made them erect. So she would get them drunk and take them back to her room.
So she was doing a roofie Viagra kind of mix.
Pretty much. She would get them drunk.
That's right.
Spike their drink, take them back to her room, and have intercourse with them.
The moment that she took them to the room with the intention of raping them, okay, you now have premeditation. Okay, you have rape through chemical means. The fact of rape. So there's 3 major felony charges right there. And in fact, in some areas, in some states, they've even labeled now that you taking a person who is under the influence of drugs you've administered to them to a room as kidnapping. So there's another one right there. You can even get busted for kidnapping.
As well they should.
So on that, and so there you go. So there's your breakdown of your 3. Now, where the media's got it wrong is they keep tying sexual assault and harassment into the same thing. It's not. There is a line between the two. Now, rape is on its own category. It's on its own level, and that's, I mean, Harvey Weinstein, who was the one that really got the ball rolling on all these people coming out of the news. Okay, he's actually been charged with rape, multiple accounts of rape. Okay. In fact, it says it right here, accusation of raping 3 women, sexual assault, and harassment of dozens other. I think the dozen other is a low estimate. I'm willing to bet Weinstein is guilty of harassing well over hundreds. And the reason why is that I'm fairly certain some of the people that watch my show are familiar with the casting couch porn. Okay? That's not an original idea. Okay? The casting couch is a thing that goes back way into the 20s. And it was a whole thing that if you were a girl and you wanted to roll on a big movie production, you had to fuck the producer, you had to fuck the director, and a lot of times you had to fuck the starring male actor. And that's why they called it the casting couch. You did not get on the movie, until you laid out on that casting couch. So the whole porn site that does that, that's not a new idea. That's something that's been going on in Hollywood for years. And now it's starting to come to light. And because of the Weinstein thing, it's really starting to explode. You take a look at Sylvester Stallone is in the news now for it. Kevin Spacey's in there. Louis C.K. is in there. Hamilton Fish is now in there. Andy Dick is in there. Jeffrey Tambor is in there now. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of all these male actors that are now involved in all this. Or male celebrities. Okay, we also look at Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer was the icon of the Today Show. Matt Lauer's gone. Bill O'Reilly. You know, so it's not even just actors. It's not just those celebrity types. You've also got mainstream media personnel that are getting hit with all this. Now, my wonder is going to be, though, when are we going to start rolling out? When is the women's list going to come out? Because there's already been murmurings of women that are involved in this, or that are involved in one shape or another. There's even a couple icons that have been rumored around that have long since been gone. Judy Garland is one that came up. That in order for a guy to work on one of her movies after she got big, they had to sleep with her. So it's not just males. And see, that's the other thing that I want to make sure that the media is blowing this up as males. And don't get me wrong, males are guilty a majority of the time. Okay? Well, let me rephrase that. They're not guilty a majority of the... I don't mean it as in the reports they're guilty of. But if you take 100 people in a line, okay, more men will be charged or will be reported to have doing this. Accused, thank you, than women. Women is a much smaller percentage, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The media is playing it off that it's all men. It's all men. And right now, that's only one because the big names are going out. Now, it's not, and Washington, D.C. is not immune. Okay? You got Judge Roy Moore running in Alabama, and we all know about the 8 women that came up against him. You got Senator Al Franken, who likes to hug people. Oh my God, we got a hugger. So you've got a hugger. Coiner, yeah. Representative Coiner. Now that guy needs to get his walking papers. And the reason why I say that he needs to get his walking papers is because he's actually, they actually paid $86,000 for this girl to shut up. $86,000 for a girl to shut up. By the way, folks, if you're going to go to the YouTube channel and watch, we do have a chat room over there for you guys to talk to us on that too. So if you guys are watching over on YouTube, feel free to comment in there as well. For you guys on Facebook Live, getting close to cutting this. So if you guys want to watch this over on YouTube, we'll be continuing to show it from there. All right, so sorry, I heard hugger and I automatically thought of Bailey from WWE. Then realized the severity of the issue. Yeah, Al Franken he's had, let's see, a girl on the USO tour said that he came on to her. He did another photo op with another girl and he grabbed her butt. And Al is running around telling everybody that, oh well, you know, Jesus, I'm a hugger. You know, I can't lean forward. That's the problem. The moment I lean forward, we lose. We get dark in here.
A story that we have on him right now is he was accused of sexual harassment of 2 women, including forcibly kissing and groping. Apologized to Leanne Tweeden, who wrote an article that included a photo of Mr. Franken groping her. Mr. Franken also called for a Senate ethics investigation into his actions. So he actually called for his own investigation. There's more, and he says, there's more I want to say, but the first and most important thing is, and if it's the only thing you care to hear, that's fine, is, I'm sorry, Mr. Franken said in a statement in which he did not fully confirm Ms. Tweeden's account.
Yeah, and see, the thing is we're talking about what? Leanne Tweeden. Leanne Tweeden. Okay. We'll tell you, she's an attractive woman. So, and there's probably a bunch of guys like, way to go. Not okay. It's not okay. Okay. Grabbing a hold of women and doing these things, because the one that happened at Tweeden was she was unconscious on the airplane. She was asleep on the airplane, and there was somebody taking pictures, and he reached over and grabbed her boob for a photograph. Guess what? That's assault. That's not even sexual harassment. That's sexual assault. So there we go. I mean, that's Al Franken, and anybody's ever heard of Al Franken? Anybody's ever heard talk? That's Al Franken. All right. So in case those of you watching at home are like, "Who the hell's Al Franken?" He's that senator that he sounds like a weed eater that's constantly changing and throttle. So that's Al Franken. Now, like I said, Conyer needs to go away. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. Is John Conyer?
It's not on here yet.
It's not on there yet? Okay.
So right now we currently have a list of 34 men put out by the New York Times.
Well, Charlie Rose, we all know about that. He had PBS and I think ABC, and he's gone. He's been in the media business for like 190-something years.
John Lasseter, the head of Pixar and Walt Disney Animation.
Well, I mean, you're also talking about Disney, which started its whole run in the porn industry. So why is that not surprising? There's so many people like, what?
Your childhood ruined.
Yeah, all that great Disney stuff you watch, it started with porn.
Aladdin showed her the world, all right.
How is that ruining my... Never mind.
So new guy. So anyway, he needs to go because, like I said, an $86,000 settlement to get a girl to keep her mouth shut, and he needs to go. He needs his walking papers. He needs to be gone. The whole thing. The one thing that's really ticking me off though is this whole Roy Moore thing. Okay, now I want to tell you why I'm getting mad about this. All right. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook. This is where we say goodnight on Facebook because we are live on YouTube. The YouTube channel I posted on my Facebook feed. So you guys can go ahead and check it out and go join in over there.
Come see us.
Yes, please do. So folks, have a good night and we'll see you over there. Alright, so anyway, so the whole thing with Roy Moore, okay? My only issue with Roy Moore is this. Every time we turn around and you think, now let me move that out of the way, don't need that anymore. Every time we could turn around, one of these 8 girls is found to be lying. The one that he supposedly knocked up when she was 14. The one that he tried to knock up when she was 16. The lady who claimed that said he was running around in his underwear in front of her, and then she just up and went home. Okay, we're finding out as we go along that these girls are lying. A lot of them are lying. It's kind of weird. You waited 50, 60, some odd, 40, 50 years to suddenly say report at the same time he's running for office. That always seems fishy when that happens.
Sounds like some political drudgery.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong, both sides are just as guilty of it. I'm not blaming anybody. If I ain't got anybody that's watching that's a liberal, trust me, I'm not blaming only the left. The right does it just as bad.
Janet says, it is curious because the Democrats are not talking about any of their senators possibly being guilty of the same as the Republican senators being called out.
Exactly. Nobody's called for Al Franken to just go ahead and step down. Okay? But everybody keeps telling Roy Moore he needs to stop running. Roy Moore right now is leading in the polls because everybody's finding out that all this was bullshit. The problem is, and here's the issue I have right now with the way the left spins this. Okay, like I said, if anybody's a Democrat and you don't do this, then don't take offense to what I'm about to say. But what really pisses me off is the moment that we find out that, yes, these girls that we found out about Roy Moore are actually lying, and then we sit there and go, you know what, maybe the guy should keep running. The left immediately turns around and tells me that, oh, I'm just your typical white heterosexual male conservative that thinks sexual harassment is okay. I don't. Because like I said, Conyer needs to go. He's a Republican. Needs to go. Needs his walking papers. In fact, doesn't even need his walking papers. Somebody call security. Get him the fuck out of the building. Fire his ass. Okay? If you're guilty of doing this shit, get the hell out. Okay? But we're finding out that Roy Moore didn't do the shit they're claiming he did. But yet the moment I try to sit there and say that, look, here you go, he's not doing it, I'm all of a sudden your typical white heterosexual conservative male that's okay with this shit. You know what? The moment that shit came out about Bill O'Reilly, and I watched Bill O'Reilly for years. I listened to his radio shows for years. The moment they came out with the shit that he did and they were actually able to prove this shit he was doing, I stopped watching him. I unsubscribed to his websites. I don't want nothing to do with him. Okay? So, simply because I'm sitting here going off the facts does not make me some typical white conservative guy who likes to go grab women's asses and be cool with it. Okay? I call these people as I see it.
Just get a knight to blackmail them and have them stand down.
Okay, well, we're not really going to cover the amp guard world.
It's just,
I know.
A lot of these people are amp guarders.
I understand that a majority of my listeners are amp guarders because that's where a majority of my friends
Anyways,
are.
take a person in another position of power and have them blackmail and commit another felony.
You know, so, I mean, seriously, the thing is, okay, like I said, John Connor needs to go away. Roy Moore, we're finding out he didn't do this shit. Okay? If we find out more senators and Republican senators and whatever are doing this, get them the fuck out. Same thing with the Dems. All of them. If you're going to go around mistreating women like this, you need to go. Period. I don't stand for this shit. Yes, I'm an overly flirtatious person. However, I will tell you that every time I'm told that I think you're going a little far, not a problem. You know? But I don't sexually assault, nothing like that. I can say that, yes, I may have skirted the line of what somebody could consider sexual harassment before in my life. In fact, I used to joke when I was in the Army that they're the reason why I'm the reason why those policies exist. And I tell you what, when I was a younger person, I was really bad about it. I was really horrible about it. But I'd have to say, once I became a dad with a girl, I changed a lot. I really did. And you know what? There's no excuse for my actions when I was a youngin'. There's no excuse the way I was when I was in my early 20s. You know, but like I said, once I became a dad, a lot of that changed, because then I saw myself in other people. And I no longer accept that. I no longer accept that.
It's like all of a sudden you realize, I feel like my dad talked to me about this, because my dad didn't have any daughters before I came into his life. All of a sudden you realize what you've done to every woman
exactly.
ever.
Now, you know, like I said before in the beginning of the show, yeah, I'm under investigation for the 3rd time. Okay? For shit I didn't do. Okay?
That's been confirmed twice.
That's been confirmed twice. And now 3rd time. And let me tell you something, folks, next Sunday you're going to want to watch the Raj and Rich show. Because I'm going to lay the whole thing out. Every bit of it. Everything that I've been accused of, everything that's been going on, all the investigations, everything, I'm laying it all out next week. So you might want to make sure you tune in for that. A little teaser for next week. But anyway, so I just want you guys to be aware of what your different categories are. So the moment someone, and especially those people, if you're going to make an accusation that somebody's done something, which I think you should, if you seriously feel like you've been sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, and especially raped, okay, you need to report it. Don't wait. Immediately. Okay, if it's a form of sexual harassment, it's somebody you're around every day. Okay? I'm going to suggest please talk to the individual. It helps you out when you make a report if you spoke to the individual first and said, hey, I'm not cool with this. Now, if you're afraid of the individual, which people can be,
or if that person's in a position of power over you,
then immediately go on to a person that's above them and report it. Go to Human Resources. That's how they found out about Matt Lauer. Girl went to Human Resources, said the guy locked the door behind her and said, look, if you don't do this, you're out of here. Luckily, she got out of there without having to do anything. Okay, that's a clean example of quid pro quo.
Right.
Okay, that's a legal definition. But anyway, you know, report this stuff immediately. But if it's somebody that you know that just happens to, hey, I like the pants you got on today, and you find that uncomfortable, please tell them, like, you know, that's not really appropriate. A lot of times they stop.
Sometimes there's no filter between here and here. Not that it's an excuse.
No.
But maybe they did not realize at the time, like, that was potentially off-putting. Maybe because they made a comment like that before and it got slid with other people.
And you know
be the person that stops that pattern.
And I'll use an example of something that happened with me not too long ago. I'm not going to say the person's name, but an individual lady on Facebook, a friend of mine. I've been commenting on posts that she had made and pictures she had taken of herself and stuff and put on there. And, you know, and it kind of became a challenge, like, let's see if I can make her blush. Well, one day, I did not believe that it was unacceptable, what I said. It might have been pushing it a little bit too far. So, she told me. And I was like, oh, I absolutely apologized. I thought I was just doing it again to compliment her. It went a little too far. And I said, okay, you know what, not a problem. And then I backed off, and you know what, I even said, you know what, I'm not going to post anything or comment in it for a little while and let things cool off.
You backed away.
Yeah, and I backed away, which is, you know, and I wasn't intending any harm or malice towards her, or I wasn't intending to let her know, you know, get any intentions of what I wanted things to become. I was just trying to make her smile, and it went too far, but she at least talked to me. She told me. And I was like, okay, you know what? You're right. I apologize. And there we go. Okay, so Janet said, I'm going to be blunt, honest here. I've noticed that a lot of people in these cases where AmpGuard females are going to take even a look the wrong way and blow it completely out of proportion. When they do not get their way, they keep crying wolf. Yeah. 3 times.
Unfortunately, false accusations happen way more than they should, whether it's due to badgering from other parties or I didn't get what I want. Sometimes a woman will get caught fooling around and then, oh no, he raped me.
Okay, and you know what? I got a case of that. I'm not going to say any names, but I had that situation happen while I was law enforcement. Okay? Girl came in, claimed she was raped by a guy. Her husband was there. Her husband was steering her into questioning. By the time it got done, the investigation got done, come to find out she got caught cheating on her husband. Husband made her cry rape in order to save the marriage.
I really feel like the punishment for a false accusation should be what the person would have gotten if they were found guilty.
But the problem is, if I accuse you of murdering a cop and it's wrong, do I get the death penalty?
No, but you still serve some type of time.
Well, I know that, but I'm bringing up the other end of the spectrum on what the counter argument would be at that point. It's like, she killed a cop, and then find out it was a complete falsehood. Do I get? It's a capital crime. Do I get the death penalty? I get put to jail because I said you killed a cop. Who knows?
Well, it depends. Did you kill the cop?
No. Kill a cop? I'm so rusty right now in my shooting. I'd probably miss him, and I'd get shot by all 30 of them. But I wouldn't do that anyway. I love my law enforcement. I bleed blue. Always will. But anyway, so that's where we're at on this, folks. So if you have any other questions or comments, there's a chat room over there.
Hamish looked at me and I was not assaulted or harassed
at all. Fucking Drago. Yeah, see, right now I'm staring at all of you watching the show. Do you feel assaulted or harassed? Please call our lawyer at Scop It, and Scop It.
You put us in your home every night.
Right? You make us watch you. If we don't, then you threaten us. No, I don't. I just tell you you're going to be less informed tomorrow if you don't watch my shows. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. Okay? There's not a lot to cover on. We have a crap load, and here's the other problem. You guys have an update on Toys for Tots.
We're not running that, I don't believe.
We're not running it?
I haven't been told of any representatives.
You need to talk with Kill Mill then. We'll discuss that after the show, Kill Mill. So anyway, so yeah, so that's it. You know, there's not a lot to really cover on it. There's a whole lot of people coming out of the woodwork because usually once a large ball...
The list is going on and on.
Look at it this way. You put a snowball at the top of a hill.
At the bottom, it's an avalanche.
At the bottom, it's an avalanche. And that's what's happened. Harvey Weinstein was the snowball that started at the top of the hill. And now we got an avalanche forming at the bottom because all these people are now coming out. It takes one...
It's all mainly white people.
What?
Nothing.
Okay, a new guy.
Anyways.
So, you know, so that's what's going on with that. Okay, and there's gonna be more coming out in the next couple.
There already have been more since this list was put out.
I mean, and I'm not saying anything against people who are making the accusations. However, right now this is the cool topic. Okay.
It's mostly, like, from what I've noticed, it's prolific men, and now the accusations just aren't coming from women. So
George Sakai.
George Sakai was on this list. He was accused in the 80s of groping a male model that he invited into his home and had drinks with.
And supposedly he got him drunk with the intention to do things to him.
But from what I can tell from this list, he was quickly acquitted.
He was acquitted of it, but it's still coming out.
Yes.
Because now, even if you're acquitted of it, they're still going to bring you up in all this information. You're still going to be part of the list. And unfortunately, if you're on these lists for guys going through this, most people don't read them. They just see your name and automatically think, oh, you're just like the rest of those bastards. And I actually take the time to read them. She takes the time to read them, and then that's that. Okay, so that, I mean, there's not much more I could really go off on that, except that, look, if they're guilty of it, they need to fuck go away. We don't need these people in politics. We don't need to see these people on the movie screens. I don't give a damn how good of an actor they are. Okay? I know a lot of my friends that like the Ben Affleck Batman. If Ben Affleck got accused of it tomorrow and they said they didn't want him as Batman anymore, good fucking riddance. Okay? If he's guilty of it, good riddance. Okay? I don't care how good of a Batman he is. In fact, somebody throw a lot of makeup on Michael Keaton because I thought he was the best Batman anyway. But that's just me.
I think the biggest thing to draw from this is, you know, don't make false accusations, and if the accusation is true, make it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
If you are sexually assaulted or raped, they can do things to find that person's DNA on you, whether you're male or female. First
piece of advice I'm going to give you right now. Okay, first piece of advice I'm going to give you right now, ladies.
Don't take a shower.
If you are raped, do not take a shower. As disgusting as you may feel, as much as you want him off of you as fast as possible, the easiest way for them to catch that person is for you to not touch anything on you other than dialing 911. It's, you know, they have a much greater chance of catching the perpetrator.
And don't clean the area that it happened in.
And the worst part about it is a large percentage of women who are raped by somebody they know. That is the even worse reality of it. There are people who randomly rape people. Okay, but a large percentage of rapes are conducted by somebody because it is considered a personal crime of personal nature. It's just like strangulation. 90% of the time when somebody strangles somebody to death, they knew that person. You can narrow the list of possible suspects real fast. Same thing with rape. A lot of it happens a lot by people they know. So don't take a shower, don't throw away the clothes, don't burn the clothes, none of that. You keep everything. And you call 911 immediately. If you've been sexually assaulted, call 911.
If you've been sexually harassed through anything other than just verbalization as well, the last thing you want to do is look at those text messages, look at those messages, rewatch those videos, save them. Because that can
burn somebody in a hurry. Because guess what? They've ruled Facebook conversations are admissible in court.
I've dealt with, personally I've dealt with sexual harassment from someone who was higher up on the food chain than me.
Yes,
and
you've told me this story.
If it had not been for me saving every message he sent me, then my story would have been the same as a bunch of other females who tried done the same thing. I was smart enough to keep the messages. I turned them in. And now all of a sudden, all these stories have been corroborated. Now that person is no longer in the position that they were in.
Yes, and Kill Mill, I'm aware of I think I'm aware of the one that you're talking about. Kill Mill said that there is an actual 911 call where you can hear a girl who is trying to hide from her assaulter, and you hear her freaking out, and then suddenly the phone goes silent. Okay.
I've heard that one before.
And that's probably where I heard it for the first time, was that one. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to try and survive, and you got to try and get away, and you got to try and report it. You know, a lot of women will take showers, scrub themselves insanely. They'll douche. They will throw away the clothing they were wearing that day. They will burn sheets. You name it. Don't. The majority of the way they find these guys is off of all that you just eliminated. Information leading to their arrest was in there somewhere. And if you want them gone, you got it.
Especially if they're repeat offenders.
I can't even begin to even know what it would feel like. So I'm not even going to try to say I understand. But knowing off of what I've talked to other people about, I know it's going to be difficult. But you got to do it in order to get them. Otherwise, you take that 80.
And as a former law enforcement officer.
Yeah, as you take that 85% chance of being able to get the guy down to 5%. And in that 5% window relies a lot on you being able to identify him at that point. So now we know all the different forms of harassment, assault, and rape. We've talked about the people who are coming up in the news about it. We've talked about what to do if these things happen. So hopefully you guys are more informed. Maybe some of you out there had no idea. And if you were a guy and you're seeing another guy do this shit to another girl, or you see a girl doing this to a guy, don't keep your mouth shut. Don't keep your mouth shut, okay? Reports have to be investigated, regardless, even if they turn out to be ridiculous. They still have to be investigated. It's like my situation. I had no problem with the first investigation. I kind of had an issue with the second investigation after it had already been found innocent the first time, but I went along with the second one. Third one's ridiculous. And it's the same exact people, the same exact report.
Same exact event.
Same exact event, same exact everything again. Okay. Kilmill said the absolute closest feeling you could ever experience without it actually happening is like actually having your pet killed in front of you and feeling absolutely powerless to stop them. Okay, I could see where that could be some kind of a relation. I'm not ever going to say that would be a relation to a girl that's been raped and can't do shit about it. It's a violation of your body. It's not only physical attack, it's mental as well. I've always believed that men who rape women should get the death penalty. Same thing, women who rape men should get the death penalty. Why? Because you've slowly killed them. Because inside you have mentally destroyed them. And they're only going to get worse. As good as they may seem on the outside, on the inside it's a complete and utter nightmare. And I think they should get the death penalty. Because I consider it a slow, torturous death of an individual by your actions.
They have to live with that every day for the rest of their lives. Also, if you're a man, male, guy, whatever, and you have been sexually assaulted or harassed, please come forward. It is not macho to hide this shit and live with it. Because it affects you just as much. And some of the typical sayings going out there going, hey dude, I was sexually harassed by this girl, and like your buddies may go, yeah, hey, lucky you. No, if you don't want to be treated like that by another woman, then you know what? It's wrong. It's sexual harassment. Or another man. If a girl walks up, grabs you by the dick, and turns around and says, I see you have a nice pair, that's assault. If you get drunk and you're one of those guys that doesn't suffer from whiskey dick, and you're passed out and you got a hard on and a girl takes advantage of it, or a guy sodomizes you, that is rape. That's rape. Even if you're a guy. So don't think it's not possible, because it is. And don't think that if you report it, you're less of a man. And don't have the hot fantasy that some chick's going to come at you with a gun to your head saying, get it up her and we're going to fuck. That's not the case. Mm-mm. Not at all. You'll... Please come forward. Please report it. What was it, like 68%? What was it, 68% of rape against men is done through chemical means? Yes. Okay. Because in a lot of guys, yes, it is a very big psychological thing in order to get an erection. So, unfortunately, if you eliminate the psychological aspect of it, it's difficult to get them erect. There is physical stimulation will take over, but the amount of work involved, so a lot of times it's chemical. A lot of times they will slip things in a guy's drink. You know, case in point, like the one you said earlier. Okay?
It can happen to guys. You're not less of a guy if you report it. In fact, I think you're stronger as a guy for reporting it because so few do. So you actually got a pair for stepping up and saying this shit ain't right.
Statistics on female-to-male assault are not rising because it's happening more often. It's happening because men are reporting it more.
Finally.
And that needs to happen.
Yes. Now I'm not saying that the only people that report this are your what do they call them, metrosexual guys who are weaker, so considered weaker. Okay, there are big guys that are reporting it. I did read a report the other day. This guy is 6'6", 331 pounds. This guy could pick up a car. Reported a rape. He was raped. So yes, even big dudes that run around with huge equipment. Not meaning it like that. Okay, I mean, big guys can even be raped. And you know what? And this guy said the worst part about what he found was more traumatizing is the first time he tried to report it, the law enforcement agency he went to were just like, suck it up, son, you got laid. And that actually did more damage. He said that damage almost equaled the level of what had actually happened to him. Because now he couldn't even go to his own. And I hope every member of that law enforcement agency gets fucking sued that was involved. And I hope they're all thrown out on their ass. That's another thing. Yeah, I used to have a badge, but I can't stand for bad law enforcement either. Okay, that job is hard enough being a good cop, let alone having to deal with the reputation of bad cops. Yeah, you're too white for this light too. We need to get like something over it or something to cover it up. You look like you've never seen the outdoors a day in your life. Like,
looking like Seamus.
The only thing you're missing now is like teeth to come out, and I just throw garlic at you and holy water to make you go away. Just saying. So anyway, so now let's move on to another topic. I don't even know what time. Oh, okay, so we haven't been going on that long. 46. Yeah, okay, so we're not going on too bad. Another topic I want to touch on this a little bit. I don't want to touch on this a lot because the debate is still huge. This whole net neutrality thing. Okay. Now you have two sides of the coin on this. You have one side that says net neutrality is bad. It says that net neutrality is prohibiting certain companies from being able to go to certain markets to be able to do certain things. Okay. You have those that are saying without net neutrality, mom and pop shops couldn't compete against companies like Amazon or Best Buy or things like that. Okay. Here's the deal as we stand. Right now, we live in a world with net neutrality in the United States of America.
Which is only a new thing.
Which, it's not that old. Y'all act like it's been going around since Pong was a thing. Okay? First of all, the internet's not even that old. However, net neutrality is supposed to make it a level playing field. However, if you notice when you go online, it ain't exactly a level playing field. Like, if I want to go search for something, say I want to buy boots, a pair of boots in my local market, okay? Say I want to go find somewhere locally to buy my pair of boots. I will guarantee you the first 4 companies that come up with a pair of boots. Best Buy. Or not Best Buy, sorry, they do electronics. Walmart. Amazon. eBay. And then there was one other one that I was thinking off the top of my head, and I can't.
Cavender's?
No. Bass Pro Shops. When I typed in boots, those are the 4 I got. The only one that's local to me, Walmart. Okay? And I don't want to buy. I have a pair of Walmart boots because that's the only boots I could find at the time that would fit me, that I could afford right off the top. If I could have waited another week. But Bass Pro Shops. Is there one still in Austin, or did that? I think there's one left in Austin. Okay, but I've gone in there and their prices. The moment you walk through the door, Jesus, no, sorry, I'm out. But I didn't see a boot shop in Austin. After I bought these boots, I could have bought better boots than the ones I have now with steel toe for $4 cheaper. Didn't see those. Didn't see another boot shop that's in Austin that I could have maybe paid a little bit more but better quality. Okay, I had to dig through so much of that shit in order to get to local people. So we're living in a world of net neutrality, But the problem is, you know, when you go to search engines, they're paying to make sure their company gets the top of the list. Well, mom and pop's boot shop can't pay the money that Amazon and all them pay to make sure they're at the top of the search engine. So they're paying to make sure they're at the top of the level. But with net neutrality, this is part of this is not supposed to be happening. Now, Kill Mill said, net neutrality, do the research, is all I can tell some people because some stances are completely absurd. Okay. Now, I talked to a friend of mine who lives in India. Okay. Used to be a big fan of the Rich Wilson show back in the day. Listen to it. Believe it or not, I'm not shitting you. He's a DirecTV customer service rep. And he would get bored and he'd scan through the internet and he found my show and he started listening to it. Okay, so I talked to him the other day about net neutrality because in India they don't have it. And yes, they get charged an additional fee for social media. They get charged for video streaming. They get charged additional fees for the whole thing. Okay? So what a lot of people here are scared of is that if we eliminate net neutrality, then in order for you to watch my show on YouTube, you're going to have to pay an additional $10 a month to get YouTube streaming. If you want to keep using your Facebook page, you're going to have to pay, and these are only just...
These are made up.
I'm just throwing those out as numbers. Okay? There's been no specification on what these costs are going to be. If you want to use Facebook, it's another $10. You want to use Twitter, well, actually, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that would be lobbed into the social media package. YouTube would be into the video streaming package. That would also include, I guess that would include your Hulu, your Netflix, and all that. So there's so much on either side of it right now that it's almost impossible to really comment on because we have not faced this in the United States to the extent that everybody's claiming we're going to face it. Because before net neutrality, we didn't have this problem. We have net neutrality, now they're talking about taking it away, and now everybody's scared the sky's going to fall out. Well, before net neutrality, I didn't pay any extra to have MySpace or Facebook before net neutrality. I didn't pay any more to watch YouTube. I didn't pay any more to do any of that. Now we have net neutrality, and they're talking about removing it, and everybody's scared to death that they're going to get charged $1 billion a month to do all this. Janet says, what the whole thing about internet providers charging extra for certain streaming services? I have heard that go around a lot.
From what I've read, that there's going, the package is going to be the same, but there's going to be a standardization of prices.
Well, and in a sense, like right now, I'm running 70 megs per second is what they claim, but I'm uncapped, so I'm actually running like 150. The thing is, like you have it already. If you get, it's like 70 meg service I think for me is like $65, I think, or it's 55. Okay, but if I wanted to go to 150, which would unlock my ability to stream all the movies I want, then yeah, I'm going to have to pay $80. Well, I'm running at 70 megs, and as long as I only got like 3 items on, I can stream whatever the hell I want. The moment I get a 4th one, it starts slowing down. Okay, so I'm already in that boat. The problem is nobody knows what's going to happen in the United States. The people that are running the large people that are running the internet providers and everything like that are saying it no. The problem is we have bureaucrats running the internet when they shouldn't have because it ran perfectly fine before net neutrality, and now we have it. Now we're over-regulated, and now we want to go back to more open streaming, which is what we had, and now we don't, and we want to go back to that. But then the government is saying that and certain people are saying, well, if we do that, then people are going to stop using Facebook. And well, yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, if they charge me $10 a month to use Facebook, you're not going to see me on Facebook anymore.
Not worth it.
No, because it's not worth it. Facebook, and a lot of times, has caused me more harm than it has good. Go back to MySpace, where I make little things and it plays music with little sparklies in the background. That was pretty simplistic. I mean, pretty sure MySpace isn't like that anymore. I haven't been on since I last logged into my account.
I mean, MySpace could be like so much more than Facebook, though. I mean, you had a different background. You already had cover photos, profile pictures. You had a profile song. You got to do your top 8.
Yeah, I had more fun with MySpace, but
I did too. So I got pranked one time and it was awful.
Sounds like extra data to stream more.
Pretty much.
You already do it with your phone providers, though. When you really think about it, if you don't have one of those truly unlimited plans, guess what? You're already doing this with your phone bill. Now, I'm not saying your cable bill is going to turn your phone bill. Like if you got a 13-year-old that doesn't know what the word stop means, suddenly you get a phone bill is $800. You know, I'm not saying it's going to be that. But what I'm saying is,
the absence of net neutrality would actually be able to cap that too.
Yeah, the absence of net neutrality, you would actually be able to go in and regulate that. Right now, you couldn't. If you had a limit on how much you could do and it would start charging you after that, right now, without net neutrality, you could set that up going, it stops here. With net neutrality, you have no right to do it. It just free flows.
And phones used to do that back in the day.
Yep.
Like, hey, you've reached 10, whatever. Done.
So there you go. I'm not really going to comment much because I'm still doing a lot of research on net neutrality, pros and cons, because I know of 7 different countries that don't have net neutrality and they're running perfectly fine. What was the one that the example you gave me?
Portugal.
Portugal's running without net neutrality, and Portugal runs...
There are some countries that are getting boned in the process, and there are other countries that aren't.
Well, China doesn't have net neutrality. They have the government controls it.
Well, yeah, they're also communists, so...
Yeah, I mean, you can't... Like half the time you can't even access Facebook in China. Unless you're like part of those people that sell all the crap in mass quantities to you. They can use Facebook. They contact me every day because I bought one damn thing at Alibaba.com, and now the Chinese won't leave me alone. We're not even going to get into what I bought.
Collusion.
But with the Chinese, I did not collude with the Russians. I did not. Okay? The Chinese, maybe. This one sales lady, she's kind of hot. She's convinced me to buy crap I shouldn't.
That's a picture of her daughter.
That is not up. I hope not. I'm going to hell. Alright, so the other thing I want to talk to you about I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the whole tax bill thing that's going on right now in the government. And some people are like, oh great, our taxes are going to lower. No, they're not. Don't believe it. Okay? The new tax bill, not going to lower your taxes. Okay? Now I know that some of you are like, yeah, it's just more cuts for big people. Well, the thing is, understand the United States has the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. Second highest. Okay? But you take a country like China, even Ireland. They're at the bottom of that list. Okay? We're trying to move our corporate tax rates to a more competitive level. Okay? We're trying to move it to a more competitive level. And the problem is the war on the rich has gotten caught up in the middle of this. Okay, look, I don't think corporations should have to pay the amount of taxes they're having to pay. Look, and here's the deal, and I'll tell you this, and some of y'all hate me for it. Okay, if you made $1 billion doing what you do, fucking good for you. I don't deserve a dime of that $1 billion you made working your ass off to make it happen. Okay, I don't. I don't deserve it. I didn't do shit to get any of your money. That's why I don't like this whole let's make everybody equal and spread the wealth around thing. Okay, sure, I'd like to buy a new car. Okay, that's about, that legitimately is my financial goal, is to be able to purchase a brand new automobile. Like go onto a lot, buy a brand new car. Not somebody else's problems. Okay, I want my own problems. Okay. But I don't agree with this whole we need to spread the wealth around thing. So this whole war on the rich thing, I'm not a part of it. If you think billionaires need to pay more, guess what, folks? They pay almost, no, in fact they do. They pay a majority of the taxes in this country. And you're like, well, all their deductions and everything else, they still pay a majority of the tax burden of the United States of America. Think about that for a minute. The top 1% pay a majority of the tax bill for the population of this country. Okay? Okay? And Janet, I don't have a problem with that. Janet said everyone needs to pay even taxes. Now, part-timers may hate that, but honestly, don't give a damn. I want my taxes even. Everybody should pay 15%. That actually lowers everybody's tax rates. Even the bottom and the top. 15%. No deductions, no nothing. 15% across the board. I like that idea a long time ago. And Donald Trump, as much as y'all hate him, because I know a lot of people in my chat room don't like him, was the first person to throw that as a number in the campaign. 15%. Okay? That means you make $1 billion, you pay 15% of $1 billion. You make $100, you pay 15% of $100. Now, I will agree that under a certain amount should be tax exempt, period. Okay? If you make, say, under a certain, let's just throw this number out, and I'm not going to say this is a fair number, I'm just going to throw the number out. If you make $25,000 or less a year, you shouldn't be paying taxes. In fact, your taxes that you're getting taken out of your check should immediately come right back to you at the end of the year. You shouldn't even have to file paperwork. The IRS should do their fucking job and go, yeah, Joe so-and-so made $22,000 and paid $6,000 in taxes. He's got no reason, because that's below the living yearly wage. Like, he's living below the line.
Well, hell, as a specialist, I make $28,000 a year.
All right. So, that's below the poverty line. So wherever we draw that poverty line, people below that should really not have to pay taxes. Because to make them pay taxes and not give it back that's insane. Okay. However, I'd like to see the child credit tax go away, and the reason why I would like to see this go away, there's a lot of people with parents. I know I've used it every year. Okay. There's people out there legitimately popping out units, and I call them units because they're not children to these people, with the intention to get the full amount of the benefits that come out of that. Okay? Gone. Deductions, gone. 15%. Across the board. Corporations, individuals, you name it, 15%. And then everybody pays the exact same amount. But the problem is the war on the rich turns around and goes, yeah, but you know what? This guy over here is paying 15% on his $50,000 he makes a year, which it only comes out to this amount. Let's just say 10% just because it's easy math. Okay, so $50,000. What's 10% of $50,000?
5,000.
Okay. Now let's take $50 billion. What's 10% of $50 billion?
5 billion.
Okay. All right. 5 billion. 5,000. The rich is still paying more. Yes, they're paying the same percentage, but 5 billion versus 5 grand. Let's see where the scale says. I can't reach that high.
I think one of the biggest problems is I was like, so you have these people that are making, and this is the viewpoint from the other side. You have these people that are making these billions a year.
Mm-hmm.
So they make $1 billion. They're getting taxed 10%. So that comes out to what? 100 million.
That's 10% is 100 million.
So yeah, they're getting up 100 million.
Me and math, we don't get along.
So say there's this person who makes $10,000 a year. They just had to give up $1,000 of money that they probably don't have to be given out, and it's not fair, but it's true.
Well, that's why I said there is a poverty line. We have a defined poverty line. Okay. Now it changes from state to state. Like California's poverty line is much higher than say Texas, where we live now, because of cost of living, and that's included into the poverty line. Okay. So if you're below that poverty line and what you make, then you should not be paying taxes. That's something I'll give right there. If you're below the poverty line, you shouldn't be paying shit. Okay? The people above the poverty line, absolutely pay your taxes. Okay? Now, Janice said the fair tax made sense that way, flat income tax, no personal property tax. I disagree with personal property tax idea, and the reason why. Property tax, say you own a house, the property tax on your house goes to paying for services. Okay. Now, your property tax to the federal government, okay, fine, we'll kick that out. But property tax for the state, counties, cities, and all that, which I know in a lot of places is insane, and it doesn't even make any sense, the amount they charge. However, property tax, and I know we're putting people to sleep on this one. Property tax, okay, pays for services, it does pay for roads, it does pay for a lot of things. Yes, they do tax you additionally for things, but it does pay for a lot of things. City of Austin right now is going through a big problem because they're raising their property taxes again to pay for water for a water system that has an increase. You know, so it's, yeah, okay. You have cities that keep raising shit because they'll spend way more money than they've taken in, and then they'll say, oh, well, we need to improve the water system. There's not an increased flow in the water system, so there's no need.
That's
other than go through.
Out.
Yeah, and because City Austin's going nuts with their property tax rates, but property taxes for cities, counties, and stuff like that, there's a legitimate reason for it to help pay for services. Okay, federal property tax, unless you own property on federal land, I don't see a reason to be paying federal property tax. I just don't. The federal government taxes you already. You know, they don't need more. But this whole tax, back to what I was saying. Okay, this tax bill that they're talking about passing doesn't lower anybody's taxes other than the corporations. The idea is it's actually going to raise your personal tax. Okay, what the idea is the corporations will have more money to expand, to hire more people, put more people in the economy, more people spend money. Trickle down economics 101. However, when Reagan did trickle down economics, this is not the way he did it. He lowered personal tax and corporate tax. Okay, because the problem is you can pay them more money, but if you're taxing them more, it levels out. It doesn't do anything. It only takes us right back to zero. We're not improving or decreasing. And the problem is, the reason why this is happening is because the Republicans right now are upset because guess what? For 8 years, well, actually 6.5, they promised to repeal and replace Obamacare because that is a mess. It's an absolute disaster. We don't need to get into that discussion. Okay? 6.5 years, and they said they could do it. And they kept drafting legislation that they knew the president would turn down. Okay, would veto. Then when we handed them the ball, they fumbled it in the end zone. They really did. They fumbled it in the end zone. So now they feel so pressed because they promised all this shit that now they're going to ram this through. You're not going to hear this very often because I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer by any means. To me, Chuck Schumer is Harry Reid version 2.0. Okay, and I hated Harry Reid. I agree with Chuck Schumer that this shit needs to stop and we need to sit down and figure this out. Now, of course, the Democrats are going to do their stalls because they're not in charge. The Republicans did it when they weren't in charge. Okay, but we need to sit down and do this right because we're about to ramp something through. It's not going to do anything but make the system even more complicated than it already is. I mean, have any of you ever looked at the IRS tax laws? Right? Has anybody ever done it? They're in individual volumes, and they go on for feet upon feet upon feet when they're stacked on a shelf. That's the tax laws in this country, and we're about to make it even bigger. We need to gut that system, go to a straight 15% across the board to everybody. Nobody pays taxes below the poverty line. It doesn't take a fucking library of books. One piece of paper. One piece of paper. And we're done.
And with all that paper,
fire the IRS. They're not needed. Unless I have listeners working for the IRS, and I do apologize, I'm advocating for the end of your job. Or the IRS has screwed me several times.
I mean, it took them 10 years to find Willie Nelson, so...
Well, it took them 10... every single year they audit the shit out of me, even though... Because one year, I didn't file my taxes for 3 years. By the time we finished filing my taxes when I got audited, they owed me money. Every year after that, I get my taxes fucked up. Folks, if you ever get audited by the IRS, just hope it balances out to zero. Don't try to beat the IRS. Just try to break even. You'll end up going through what I'm going through every year. I don't really have anything else. I know this show was kind of dry. Wasn't as exciting as usual. No, you're not lifting your shirt.
No,
well, I saw you looking down at your shirt, moving it. Why were you moving your shirt?
Move on.
Never.
Moving on.
All right. So anyway, I mean that's all we really have. What are you laughing about over there? Politicians.
He got it.
Okay. Politicians are not that smart to shorten the tax laws. Neither is the IRS. Maybe I shouldn't be a politician then.
I mean, Trump wasn't a politician. You see what happened.
The problem is I don't think he's done that horrible of a job yet. I just think nobody's willing to even
Give
him a chance to do a good job. The bad part is what's her name that's in charge of the Democrats in the Congress that even said he has a chance to be a good president. She's the same bitch who turned around and said they're going to open up an investigation for him and an obstruction of justice right after that. But said he could be a good president if he was given a chance.
If we just took away his Twitter account. We need no new Net Neutrality.
He's had his ups and downs. And yeah, Drago, I'll give you that. But, I mean, I will say that there's been a few things that he has done that has actually worked out pretty good.
I think we should just take away his Twitter account.
There's a few times he opens his mouth and I'm just like, yeah, I voted for this guy. I did. And they are now talking about opening up an actual investigation against Hillary Clinton, too. That just hit the news today.
Again?
Will it do anything? Probably not.
I mean, it's the third time, right?
No, she's not being investigated by the KCG.
No, she got investigated earlier, though, didn't she?
Not really. The FBI said they were looking into it, but they never did anything.
Oh, no, full-blown investigation?
No. The Senate is actually talking about doing an investigation on Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Which means it's going to go nowhere. It's
mostly because half of them are in her pocket.
Yeah, so it's not going to go anywhere. All presidents do. No one is perfect, and he desperately needs a public speaking class.
He needs to have his phone taken away. Someone get his parents.
He needs Jar Jar Binks. Oh, you haven't finished it yet. Sorry. I'm reading the new guys. He's covering their chat room.
He has no idea how to use hand signals either. He's like, oh, you can't do this. They're like, no, buddy. Just wrap it up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't trust me. I like Donald Trump. I really do. There's not a lot about how that guy's done things that I disagree with. 55 years later and still no verdict on Hillary.
She's been a sleaze since she hit Capitol Hill.
Yeah, believe it or not, folks, when Bill Clinton was in the White House, where do you think who was in command? If you ought to voted her in office, that'd have been her third term as a president. It's just this time she'd have had the official title. Just saying. Because Bill was just running around chasing skirts.
I mean, I could see why his balls were in her purse, but he still had his dick out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had it out until he found somebody to stick it in. Then
Just
it wasn't
their mouth.
back out.
Just their mouth.
In a blue dress.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, folks, all right. We could be. None of this is controversial. Everybody knows all about this crap. But anyway,
I mean, I could start sweet chin music and people, but
yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show tonight. Like I said, it's a dry topic. There's nothing really exciting about talking about taxes. Sexual harassment, we've all been through the courses. However, the media has totally just destroyed it.
or not witch hunt, but just
not witch hunting.
mass.
Well, it started with Roy Moore and a whole witch hunt with that after the Harvey Weinstein thing. It was just two things happening at the same time. Talk about impeccably bad timing.
Just because you find a ball doesn't mean you should roll with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, folks, anyway, for the world famous Rich Wilson show, I want to thank Miranda for coming in and being a part of it. So
I live here. I had no choice.
That way I didn't look like some weirdo white heterosexual conservative.
In a camo hat, that just makes it even better.
Yeah, in a camo hat trying to talk about what sexual harassment is and isn't, because, boy, that sounds believable at that point, doesn't it? But it was cool to have you on the show. I normally don't do guests.
I appreciate it.
So it was fun to have somebody to talk to that actually could carry on a conversation. I tried having guests. Sometimes I've had guests before that just... It's like the light. It's like
I think the
engine's running, but nobody's behind the wheel.
Yeah. They're not firing on all.
Does the media ever cover everything? No, the media is
elk.
Oh no. The media is very. I caught that. The media is very selective in what it covers. You notice that what's his name? Matt Lauer's story should be huge. Should be massive. What 2 days?
Something like that.
Almost gone already. Same thing with
we need Milo.
Same thing with the other guy from ABC PBS that went away, that got canned. That story should have been huge, because you're talking about two big media icons. I mean, everybody played the Bill O'Reilly thing for months.
I'm surprised George Stephanopoulos hasn't been hit yet.
Who is he sexually harassing?
I
Hillary
don't
Clinton?
know.
People feel sorry for him. Don't turn around and say Hillary Clinton said you sexually harassed her. Dude, look, we're sorry, bro. We're really, really sorry. I mean,
Thank you, Squid.
Yes, thank you, Squid. But anyway, folks, so that is the show. Also, want to thank Josh for running the computer system over there. New guy. He's not really a new guy. He's been here before. It's just we've had some technical issues. I shaved my head and the lights go dim because of my camera saturation
And I'm
filter.
pasty.
You are. You are. I'm pasty.
Well, you're ginger.
Yeah, you're a ginger. You're supposed to be pasty. Okay? You don't have a soul either, which makes you even
I
whiter.
have a lot of souls, thank
All
you.
right, guys. Next week, Sunday night, the Raj and Rich show will be happening again.
Yes, we will. Hey, look, the lights. You moved your arms and the lights go dim again. All right. So anyway, and you, by the way, your eye is looking a whole lot better.
It's almost completely healed. I'm still having some issues with vision, but
We're having problems with the lights. I don't know. This kind of looks better. You don't see
Good
as
night.
much as my ugly features. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hope you yourselves had a good night. For everybody here at the world famous Rich Wilson Show, I'm Rich Wilson. You are not, but that makes you a whole lot better. And with that note, let me just say this: I'm off like a prom dress. I'm rolling like a hunchback doing somersaults. We're gone. Good night. Bye bye.